Hello and welcome to our discussion video for the newest season in the Project Diablo 2. The Project Diablo 2 is a spiritual continuation of the most popular ARPG in history. The goal of this project is to make every skill a viable choice, and it is largely successful at it. However, as always, there will be some skills that are easier to begin your journey than others. With the recent start of the 11th season, it is now a perfect opportunity for a fresh beginning. In this tier list, we've ranked two of the most popular and effective starter builds for each class, focusing on the efficient progression for the new season. Whenever you are a new player or veteran, you can't go wrong with any of those builds. The Summoner Druid has become an established excellent starter build with low gear requirements and strong progression into the late game. Early on, Ravens are incredibly powerful and can carry you through early difficulties with ease. Later, you can utilize the new unique helmet to make your army even bigger and more powerful. Defensively, the build shines simply because your summons absorbs most incoming damage. This makes it one of the best choices, especially for newer players looking for a safe and reliable build that still packs solid endgame potential. Blessed Hammer Paladin build revolves around one of the most iconic skills in Diablo 2, Blessed Hammer. The skill summons spinning hammers that deal magic damage, making it effective in most situations thanks to very few enemies being resistant to it. In the original Lord of Destruction, Hammerdin was considered one of the strongest and most overpowered builds in the game. In Project Diablo 2, it is not as strong, but it is still a very solid choice for all aspects of the game from start to finish. The unconventional Amazon build focuses on the decoy skill, turning this class into a tactical, defense-oriented character. Instead of relying purely on your own damage, the Summoner Amazon uses her namesake skill combined with the Valkyries to control the battlefield via your minions. While the build doesn't match the clear speed of top-tier Amazons, it excels in survivability and single-target damage. Most importantly, it has almost zero dependencies on your gear to smoothly progress through the game all the way to the early maps, and you will have plenty of items to choose from to support this playstyle further. Another great build for a druid is one that focuses on the elemental side of this class, using Fissure and Volcano as its primary damage sources. It excels at area damage and sustained fire damage, making it especially strong in open field combat and against tightly packed groups. Fissure lays down a wide field of lava that continuously damages enemies, while Volcano combines physical and fire damage, making it effective even against fire-resistant foes. It is the opposite of the Summoner Druid. It cycles a lot of spells and features, an active and visually pleasing playstyle, while still maintaining high efficiency without good gear to back it up. The classic Frozen Orb skill is a powerful cold spell that releases piercing ice shards in all directions. It offers a strong combination of area damage, control, and style, making it one of the most popular choices for sorceress players across all versions of Diablo 2. In Season 11, Frozen Orb remains a reliable and effective option even during the early progression. The main drawback is that it can struggle against cold immune enemies and doesn't quickly scale into high-end farming content without heavy investment. The easiest way to succeed with a Necromancer class centers around summoning skeletal mages and revived monsters to create a large, diverse army that deals elemental damage and overwhelms enemies through sheer numbers. This version relies on ranged elemental damage from mages and the brute strength of revives, which bring defeated monsters back to life to fight for you. It shares many of the benefits of other summoners on this list, but micromanaging revives and keeping your army together can be clunky, especially since your minions are not that durable. However, the build itself is very safe, has low gear requirements, and works well in all parts of the game. The assassin that revolves around the Mind Blast skill from the Shadow Disciplines tree quickly turns into a master of crowd control. Mind Blast deals magic damage and has a chance to stun enemies, making it one of the best damage and utility skills in the game. You will deal lots of damage from a safe distance while also keeping enemies away from attacking you anyway, which is a very desirable playstyle while your gear is still far from perfect. With the seasonal changes, the Assassin's Shadows are more useful, especially once you manage to find one of the new unique weapons, which seems ideal for this build. The Throw Barbarian focuses on using throwing mastery and skills like double throw to deal damage from range with throwing weapons such as axes or knives. Once a novelty build in classic Diablo 2, the throw barb has received major buffs in Project Diablo 2, turning it into a viable and competitive option, especially in the early and mid-game. Here, throwing weapons have better availability, improved base stats, and synergize well with new or rebalanced rune words, as throwing weapons can now have sockets. The throw barb performs well in farming mid-tier content and shines as a ladder starter due to low gear dependency and fast clear speed in open areas. However, its damage can fall off in high-end content, especially if you lack optimized gear or high-end weapons. The lightning strike skill from the javelin and spear tree makes the Amazon a powerful melee elemental character. Lightning strike causes your melee attacks to chain lightning between enemies, dealing significant area of effect lightning damage that scales very well with synergies and gear. It offers great and satisfying clear speed, but the downside is that as with most attack builds, it's a bit more gear dependent than casters or summoners. It's also less effective in sparse, single target scenarios. It is still very effective, just not as much as other options on this list. Another position on the list is the spellcasting version for the Paladin class. It is centered around the Holy Bolt skill, which fires piercing projectiles that deal magic damage while also healing allies. In Project Diablo 2, this skill has been heavily reworked and buffed, as it can now damage all types of enemies, not just demons. It's also incredibly safe. You will be casting and damaging enemies from a distance while also healing up your mercenary that engages enemies in close combat. It gives it a unique hybrid playstyle that blends support and damage. It is a solid starter build, but not as fast or flashy as other options. The Bone Necromancer build revolves around the Teeth skill from the Bone Tree, turning the Necromancer into a proper spellcaster. Teeth fires multiple bone projectiles in a cone, each dealing individual magic damage. This variant shines in wide open areas and against clusters of weaker enemies. With strong synergy from Bone Spear and Bone Spirit, this build is often part of a broader setup that allows flexible transitions between area of effect and single target damage. Magic damage also means few enemies resist it, making the build reliable across most content. The Trap Assassin is a build that centers around the Wake of Fire, which lays down a fiery trap that rapidly pulses fire damage in a line. It is one of the most explosive and fast clearing early game builds in the game thanks to low mana cost, fast cast speed, and strong early damage scaling. It's especially deadly in Normal and Nightmare, where few enemies have strong fire resistance. However, its damage falls off in Hell, where fire immunes become common and traps struggle against high health enemies. To stay effective in the late game, you will need better gear, but it will be easy to obtain with such fast build. The Meteor Sorceress build centers around the powerful Meteor skill, which calls down fiery blasts that deal massive area of effect fire damage after a short delay. Meteor excels in static farming, boss fights, and stationary mob packs, where its full impact and lingering fire field can deal devastating damage. It deals both physical and fire damage, which makes dealing with immunities much easier. The unfortunate aspect of every sorceress is the lack of defense. The delayed damage and lack of slow make it more apparent here compared to the Cold Sork, making this variant the less recommended option. Another very iconic build in Diablo 2 is the Whirlwind Barbarian. In the project, Whirlwind has received some mechanical improvements that make it smoother and more viable across all stages of the game. Whirlwind shines in melee-focused combat, offering great mobility, area clearing, and damage uptime. Finding a good weapon can be a challenge, but once you get one, you are set for a long time. The Whirlwind lacks synergies with other skills, so you can max out a battle cry to deal with physical immunities on your own. It also means the endgame capabilities are lower than other skills. It is also a true melee build, which forces you to get proper defense for comfortable gameplay. Obviously, there are many more options you can choose to start your journey. Please remember that every in-game decision should be based on your preference, as fun is the most important aspect of the game. Almost every skill can successfully reach the endgame, and in many cases, a harder challenge can become a more memorable one, as long as it is enjoyable. You will also have plenty of opportunities to reset your character and start anew with your build. With so many changes across all the seasons so far, coming back to the world of Sanctuary can be quite intimidating for new players and veterans. Please let us know in the comments if you are interested in more detailed guides for specific builds in the future. We hope you will have an easier time picking your starter thanks to our list. Thank you for watching, and we wish you a great day.